Hello guys, welcome back. So we're looking at how to display our date of birth over here, right? But before we continue, if you have not hit the like button or subscribe, kindly do that. All right, so let's continue. So go to the code at the edit dialog, right? And we were changing the format of the date over here as it's coming from the users table, the students table, right, which is the users, right? So let's maintain that over here as the date params, as the params dot the row dot date of birth, right? So when now we have, when you come here, you realize that we have the 25th September 2024, which we have already formatted over here. We formatted the date over here. So as you can see from here, um, the date of birth, right? So if I should change, if I should take all this and bring data dot dob, date of birth, you realize that now it is giving us just a raw date of birth without any format, okay, which is not but we wouldn't we wouldn't want it to be in this form, right? So what we can do is that in order to solve this problem, because when let's go to the edit and let's see, at the edit dialog, you realize that now we have the date of birth over here, right? So let's displace it and see what let's refresh the page again and then select it again, and you can now see that the date of birth is being picked over here, okay, because we've not formatted it like 25th September what 2024. We've not formatted the date, all right? So now the form is able to pick over here, and we were trying to reverse it back and it wasn't working. So what we can do now that it is working over here, what we can do to format it on the students table is that we have to go to the students table, and then we have to render the cell, right? So the cell date of birth, so this is the date of birth, right? And we want to then, so we have rendered it over here, right? So instead of it to be in this form as the value, let's rather format it here. And so let me just paste whatever I've copied over here, and then let me change this to, okay, so date of birth. So this is the field name, date of birth, and this one's supposed to be the params, all right, dot the value. Let's use even the value and let's see what. So you can now see that with the value, it has formatted it very nicely for us as 25th September 2024, right? So and let's go to our form, and you can now see that it's able to pick everything nicely. So now that we have everything over here that is set, let's change this one to update or submit, all right? So let's move on to our update, subscribe, and let's make it update, right? So it is now update over here. We can now even cancel it from here, right? So let me click on it again, and then we can do our update over here. So when you click on it, we need to give it a URL, right? So now that we have everything that is set, right, let's move on to then let's add another thing to it. So you realize that we brought student ID, this field. We have at the action button, we have the field as the student ID, and this is the student ID which is coming from the database. So the row number, okay, the unique identity number of each row is what we pull out over here as the student ID. So let's call that id over here, right? So let's make it as the okay, so let's make it as the id, and now let's call it as the params, right? Params dot row dot student id, like this, right? So let's even display that over here, and let's see whether we'll have those numbers. Okay, so when you come here, you can now see that we have them here, 1, 2, and then 4, which is coming from the database. It is coming from the database of the student student table, and we have 1, 2, and then 4, right? So the we have it over here. So let me take this out from here now. Okay, so now let's create our post request over here. So we will now say that when I click on this button over here, when I click, so instead of submit, let me okay, so submit, let me add on click. All right, on click, and then I will name it as handle update. All right, handle update. Okay, so let me copy that. Let me even take this, type submit from here, right? And then I will put it over here as the const that's to create that. So now what we are going to do is that whenever I click on that, what should happen? Whenever I click on that, it should submit the form. So let me create my post request. So the post will now take a route. So we have not given any route yet, but I would say that that should be student slash update. Okay, normally what happens is that some people normally pass the id id. So for example, something like um um so example, something like so like the id over here, right? As, let's say, params dot row dot student id, right? But I wouldn't want that, okay? Because I don't like using that. I normally want to submit everything as post. All right, so let me change all that to this, right? And then now I have already passed that id here, so it will submit it together with all this, okay, including the row id, right? So now that we have all that, let's create our route over here, and we are saying that now if it is successful, then on success, then it should do something. So what should you do? Wait and do something, right? So I am going to bring it down over here, something like this, and then we can now just go ahead to send our message, something like so let me just create something right now that for the sake of this video, let's say message. Okay, and then let's say set message. Okay, and then let's use the use state. So the use state, now it is empty, right? So let's come here, and then let's put it at the top of content. Let's put it here, and let's make it as message. All right, so now let's go back to our route. So our route is here, web route, and then we have So let's create another route. Okay, and let's name it as post, and then we have this student slash update. Then we are saying that users controller, so we are dealing with users controller, and then we have the class, and let's call it as update, right? Okay, so the name that the this is going to use is not this. Okay, the name that will be passed over here will not be this. Okay, so instead of this, let's use it as this. Okay, so that we can now copy this and then give it pass it, where is it? Okay, so we can now put it here as the name. All right, and then let's put it here as student dash name. Okay, or we can also do it just as an update. Okay, so let's go back to our edit dialog and change it to update, right? So now when we click on that, supposed to trigger something, but right now um so when you submit it over here, but we've not created any methods. So let's go back to the definition of this, and then over here let's create it as public function update. Okay, all right, and then let's say that it is going to redirect after um, the response is successful. Okay, so we can say that returned redirect back. All right, wait, let's see status of success. Okay, for now we'll look at how to bring to bring these messages to the front end, okay, from the back end. So let me say success right for now, and so whatever that is here will be bring back to it will be passed, it should be passed over here as set the message. Okay, and set the message is what we defined over here, we created over here. Okay, so set message will now pass something, but so for the sake of this, let me just say success for now. Will not pass the message from the back end for now, but once it is successful, this is going to be displayed for us to see. All right, so let's go ahead, and then there is one error. Where is the error? Okay, so we've not closed um, our route that we've created. We've not closed it, so let's go back here and then let's close it over here. Then we let's look at it, and now it is fine. So let's just change it to any something like this, and then let's submit, and you can now see that it is now saying success. All right, so let me take it from there and then put it somewhere that it will look very nice for us. So let's take it from here, and then let's say that it is going to be displayed. um let's create another grid. Okay, so this is let's create a grid, let's create another grid, and let's, or but that's the we can make it as box. All right, and then let's put it over here. Okay, and then let's give it some styles, and let's say that this box it should displays it as what flexed. Okay, so that it will be in a that. Okay, so now you can now see it over there. We can even give it some color. So the color, let's make it as green. All right, so sorry, so let's go there, click on it again, and you can now see that it is giving us that. All right, then what we have to do is that now that everything, the route is working, the Now that the route is working and our form is also displaying the data over here, now let's make a change and then submit it to the database. So let's move back, let's go back to our controller and let's copy the whole of this, okay, over here, and then let's put it over here for now. And don't forget that this let's also copy this from here and put it here, and then here it should be a request, okay, so this place is going to be a request. All right, then now instead of this we are now going to say that it should be um, student dot find, all right, and then it should find um the ID of that student role. So that will be the request in a bracket student ID. Don't forget this student ID, we pass it in the dialog here. Sorry, so okay, so we've made it all in ID. Okay, so let's make it as student ID, right? So now that we have all that, let's move ahead and then make a change to this, and let's make it national ID and submit. So it is now successful. So we'll figure it out how to, when it's successful it should display this, and then it should also close this for us and make a change on the in the table without we refreshing the browser like this. All right, okay, so let's move ahead. Since this one is not checked, it's not displaying, let's go ahead and see what is happening. um, we okay, right? Oh, so we've not even finished with whatever that we were doing here. So we have the student, and let's say that it is update. All right, but even if you make it as save, it will still work, right? Let's var dump it, and then let's see whether everything is working perfectly. So let's, let me click here, go to edit, just click on it, and you can now see that even the row ID here, it is 2 and is being passed nicely. Let's click this one and see whether we'll get that 4 over there, and 4 is there, so it is working. It means that when we run our update it will work and everything will be successful. So let's move back, let's go back. Now let me refresh the page again, and instead of this voters ID for this person, let me change it and make it national ID, submit, and voila, it's working. So let's refresh the page and you can now see that it is now national ID. So we'll look at how to, when you submit the update, we don't want to click the browser before the changes will take effect, but as soon as we click on the button over here to make a change, like national health insurance, it should automatically change, and this should go off. Okay, this should go off. Let's try that one and see where whether we'll be able to change that off. So let's go to edit dialog box. We have set open, and if it is false then it shouldn't display anything, but if it is true then it should display something. And that is how come whenever we click on this, we click on the dialog, okay, whenever we click on the button, the button is here, whenever we click on it, what it does is that it now goes here and says that set open to true. Okay, so now let's go back to, once this one is successful, then let's say that they set it to false. All right, so false. So whenever we click on this, and let's change it to voters ID and let's submit, you now see that it is gone, and then it has changed to voters ID, but we still click on the browser to make that change. And then in our next video we'll look at how to make sure that when you make a change quickly and it's successful, it's automatically update the row without we refreshing on the browser. So guys, if you are still not hit the subscribe button
If you have not liked, if you have not shared, kindly share the video and don't go anywhere. Just make sure that you follow whatever that I am doing, and guys, it will take you far. So thank you.